Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You have made it to the main event. You got champion versus champion. Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. This is such a weird fight. And if you told someone in 2017 that Jan Blachowicz and Israel Adesanya would be fighting for the light heavyweight championship within a couple years, they would tell you that you are absolutely crazy because
I'd say if we told that in early 20, I would say even 29.
yeah, it's just a weird fight because first of all, it's kind of odd that Jan Blachowicz is the light heavyweight champion, but it's awesome that he's the light heavyweight
Don't even get
champion.
me started,
He's the
man.
most light heavyweight that could be the light heavyweight champion. It's great. But when it comes to this fight, it just kind of seems like they're setting it up for Adesanya, doesn't it? And it's because it's what the reality of this one is. It's because Jan Blachowicz, he's big, he's lumbering, he's kind of slow, and he's very strong. That's kind of the groundwork of who he is as a fighter, but he also loves to do these things. He loves to blitz. He loves to blitz, and he has rarely fought a good counter striker that'll make him pay. The only one who's made him pay is Thiago Santos, and Thiago Santos is not known for being a great counter striker.
Not at all.
You know who's a great counter striker? Israel Adesanya, one of the best counter strikers in the entire UFC. One of the best in the UFC, best in the world. Yeah. Israel Adesanya is not slow. He's in fact very fast. He is really, really fast. And he's taller and longer than Blachowicz. He's going to be smaller and weaker, but he's going to be taller, longer, and he is going to be faster. And just when it looks at a striking advantage, Adesanya does have it by a wide margin because Blachowicz's kind of whole thing is lumber forward, throw big shots, but he did show something in the Dominic Reyes fight that actually does kind of make this one interesting, and those are the body kicks. We've never really seen someone invest in the body that much against Adesanya, and the body kicks are eventually what finished Reyes. So I think if he's able to, hit him with those big body kicks, because I don't think it's disputed that Jan Blachowicz is the most powerful person Israel Adesanya has ever faced. I don't think you can make an argument against that. He's more powerful than Romero and definitely more powerful than Costa. But yeah, those body kicks might be a factor. And this whole week, I've been trying to look and find paths to victory for Jan Blachowicz because I feel like it'd be really funny if he won. That would just be hilarious to me. And how I see it happening is him using his physical advantages, because overall in the advantages that he does have in this fight, those are the most impactful. He's bigger and he's stronger. He can push him up to the cage, impose his will, and maybe just do what Jacare did to him for 3 rounds, just hold him up against the cage and keep him there. He can win that way. He can make it really boring, but this is Jan Blachowicz, and he doesn't want to do that. He's going to come in and he's going to blitz forward like bad out of hell. And will he get countered? Yes, he will absolutely get countered when he's coming on the inside because, Adesanya has such good defensive vision. His defensive vision is second to none. And his defense, he is as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Carlos Ulberg, he is the king of the city kickboxing lean back and counter defense. Like, he doesn't put his hands up. Like, he'll lean back and he'll fire like the signature Adesanya shot that you'll always see is him lean back and throwing the shot over the top like that while his back is still bent. It's incredible how he's able to do that and find the target every time.
Yeah.
It's just how sharp of a striker that he is. I think that if he is at a good weight at 205 and he's able to move well at 205, then I think Israel Adesanya is going to win this fight because he has more advantages. The counter striking on the blitzes that Blachowicz will throw at him will be a bit too much. The body kicks are interesting, and if Blachowicz wants to take it to the ground, he can do that. Blachowicz is very good on the ground. He's one of the most underrated ground fighters in the entire UFC. He's a BJJ black belt. Who knows? He may try to do that. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him to do, but I don't think he'll do it because, he's Jan Blachowicz. He's a big man, big, stubborn, go forward, try to knock you out type of guy. But yeah, Israel Adesanya is most likely going to knock him out late in like the 4th round or something. That's how I see it.
I would say that your analysis, if you just swapped your Jan Blachowicz's for RDAs and your Izzy Adesanya's for Conor McGregor's, you've got that 2016 fight that never happened, and it's pretty much exactly how it would have played out. I think it's very similar to that kind of matchup. I think there's definitely a way that Jan beats him in the same way that there was a way that Paulo Costa was going to beat him. Like there's a chance that maybe Jan, comes in and he's too big and he's too strong and he overpowers Izzy and all this stuff. And maybe I love the idea of moving from 185 to 205 to go for double champ. Has that been done before in the UFC or Bellator? I know that people have gone from 170 to 185, but
did Mousasi try? No, Rory tried to fight Mousasi.
Yeah, and so did Douglas Lima. But I know that 20-pound jump, it's not something that happens very often, and I like it. I like the risk that Adesanya is taking. I understand that he has wiped out his division. I understand that Jan doesn't necessarily have much of a division to wipe out. I mean, it's not the strongest 205-pound division at the moment, but I think, look, any smart man would bet for Adesanya. Like anyone would think that it's on paper. If you base it on MMA, Matt, you would think like this isn't even a particularly compelling fight. But we all know that it is a compelling fight because of that variable that Jan has and that legendary. I feel like someone has to say it, that Polish power. And that makes for an interesting fight. I can't see it being a huge amount different to Izzy's last outing, though. I think Jan is too slow. I think Jan's too big. I think because there's sometimes you come in too big. Sometimes you're big and you're lumbering, and I think that big lumbering, heavy hitting guys are just the kind of fighters that Israel Adesanya could fight 6 of in one night. So I'm gonna have to go for Adesanya. I think he's gonna finish him. I think he's going to finish him relatively early. I don't think he's going to hurt him too badly. I think he's just going to be able to land accurately on his chin. And I'm going for Adesanya, maybe second round finish.
Okay. So look, it's no secret the MMA Island chat. I think very, very low of Jan Blachowicz. I think I was disgusted when he won the title. I'm like, I still see the same man that lost to Patrick Cummings. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. I especially look at the Jacare fight just a year and a half ago. He arguably lost that fight to a struggling middleweight who fucking went back down and got knocked out from a guy.
Watch your mouth. You better watch your mouth right now.
Most embarrassing knockout losses I've ever seen. But we won't talk about that. It's off topic. I don't think very highly of Jan. I think he's I think him winning the light heavyweight championship just goes to show how shitty that division is. And we are in desperation of some life being breathed in that division. And that life is Israel Adesanya. I think that the one thing that scares me for Israel in this fight is the size. Jan is probably going to have a good 20, 25 pounds on him in the cage, right? Yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
So that makes me a little worried. If Jan wants to make it a really boring fight, try and hold him against the cage, that would be his best path to victory. But I agree with Zach. I think he's going to be very arrogant. He's been getting he's knocked out some guys lately. Some guys with some pretty crappy chins though. Corey Anderson, notoriously not a very good chin. Luke Rockhold, I think his Polish power is very overrated. I don't think he's as powerful as people say he is.
It's overrated as much as it's overstated, as much as people like to talk constantly about it. I think it's the stuff of legend, but I think I think you're right that it's not something that Israel Adesanya is going to be too worried about. And I think that the weight thing benefits Izzy. I think the heavier you are when you go in against someone who's light on their feet as Israel Adesanya, really dancing around. I think if you come in 30, 40 pounds heavier than Israel Adesanya, you've got a big problem. Obviously, he won't be that much bigger, but I think if you're a lot bigger than Adesanya, you've got a huge problem on your hands.
I agree with that.
I would be trying to cut down a little bit, trying to be as small as possible. But I think like the great example is Paulo Costa, right? Like got completely embarrassed. By Adesanya, and I think that the heavier you are, the more muscle you have to move, the more mass you have to move, the easier it is for Adesanya to just tee off on.
Because look at Calvin. Look how much better Calvin did. He's a lighter guy than Costa. No, that's actually a really good take. I just think Jan is slow. I think as Zach said, he got knocked out by fucking Santos, and Santos is not a good counter puncher at all. And Israel is a very good counter puncher, and he's proved to, I think, be a pretty durable guy. Israel can take a shot, and he hasn't taken that much damage in his career. So if he takes a couple good shots, I wouldn't worry too much about him getting knocked out. So yeah, I think we will see a new champ. Israel is going to finish him. I'm going to go with the third. I'm feeling the third round.
We all got Israel Adesanya. We got finishes
3-for-3
all over the place. And I would like to thank you very much for joining us today for the prediction show for UFC 259. Anything you guys want to plug out when we're at the finish here?
No, I don't got anything else to say. I was just happy to be here. It's been a long time. I had a lot of fun. I really should do these more often. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's been a real honor to be on here. I'll push. If you go to the netbet.co.uk blog, you'll find my UFC 259 betting predictions. And if you want to follow me at Donagh, Donagh, it's on the bottom. You can see it on my Zoom screen there.
Yeah. If you want to follow my Instagram too, Adaking2, ATTI, then King and 2. Yeah. If you want to give me a follow, I'd appreciate that. I don't expect you to, but you do.
In fact, don't follow me. Just follow Adaking and you'll get what you need.
Thank you.
He posts a lot of pictures of hot girls, so yeah, follow him.
I do. I do.
Anyway, for me, I have a couple analysis articles coming out this week, one on Kyler Phillips, one on Sean Brady, and extensive breakdowns on the 3 title fights coming up on my other.
How bad Kyler Phillips is? You think you're going to talk about how he's not that good and he's overrated?
That's not me, man. That's not me. I will feel sad because I wasted that time doing tons of tape study and writing like I did for Curtis Blades. But anyway, that's not going to happen. But yeah, I have a lot of cool stuff coming out. Make sure to give it a read. We're going up and up here. So thank you so much for watching again. We will see you next week. Keep your eyes out for everything we are doing here at MMA Island. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. Thank you very much. Guys. Have a good night.